to Third Phase of Moon. My name's Blake Cousins. Now let's get to our next video. Famous abductee Ricky G speaks with us at Third Phase of Moon on the radio. Now let's get to it right now.
When did you see them? When did you actually see that these were not humans that took you to the moon, that these things were small gray things with giant eyes?
Well, I met 3 different kinds. So I still didn't know what was going on until I did meet them.
Did you feel fear the moment you met them?
Hell yeah, I was scared. I was beyond scared. I was petrified. If you have bad health, you'll die. You know what I mean? Because your heart won't be able to take what you go through. The thing that scared me about him.
The thing that scared you, and what? Because you said you met 3 of them. What scared you about them?
Right.
And what each of the 3 were, how they were different.
Well, what scared me about them probably wouldn't scare everybody else about them. I didn't like how they felt, the way like their skin.
Let's talk about that. That's something that you've actually said that added to your credibility so much, because when you put what you're about to say out there, so many abductees have come forward and said, yes, he truly has been taken because that's exactly how it feels. Describe what it was that you felt.
Well, simple. It reminded me of a frog, a big giant frog. But when I say it reminded me of a frog, I'm not saying that's what it was. It was the same exact skin as a frog. I'm just telling you that's the closest thing. But it wasn't frog skin. It was like scales, but they weren't scales, and they didn't feel like scales. But they felt like it's like amphibians, and that's why, again, when other abductees or people who've been taken or whatever say they're lizards or reptilians, I totally understand why you think that.
Now, these 3, did they all 3 were touching you? Did all 3 of them have that same skin, or were they varying?
No, I wouldn't let any of them touch me after that, because I tried to kill them after that.
Did they try to shut you down mentally? Because apparently they're able to do that, as they are with making you black out.
Yes, they did control me to a certain point. You know what I mean? I would always snap out of it.
I think that's probably what made you very different than most other people on board that day, correct?
Right, and plus I understood how they control you, so I got past that.
Well, now that you brought that up, let's put that out there too as we get through the story. You know, because these details are so important, because what you're telling people, somebody out there who may have been abducted but doesn't know, may remember a memory that Ricky might trigger. And that's what we're hoping to do, because the detail is so amazing. I mean, we can go on for hundreds of hours, and we honestly hope we go with you. Go on.
And I can tell you, if you do happen to go through this, what to do, how to control yourself. But there's the old saying, it's easier said than done.
Well, let's hear both. Let's hear what they do and what your advice is to those people out there.
Well, they control us. They don't even have weapons. They don't even have, like, words that, like war. That's not even in their definition. Weapons, that's not even in. They don't even have a word for that. So when people say they got lasers and they do all this and stuff, they'll control you, they'll shoot you, they'll kill you, they freeze you, whatever. That's not how they work, the ones I've met. Which I'm not saying they don't have beings out there with laser guns and kill people, but the ones I've met, no. They control by fear.
And I think from every single abductee, is what they've said is what that controls is
right.
None of them talk about being weaponized. They talk about the mind being the weapon.
Right. Find me any abductee in history that said they pointed a gun at me and I did what they said. It doesn't work like that. Never does. Never has. Dealing with these creatures. With humans, yeah, we do that.
Well,
but they don't.
Now, you said you know what to do to prevent that and how to snap out of it. Tell those people out there who are listening, who have had contact, who can't control it, how to snap out of it.
Right. Well, I never had control of how to snap out of it. I just snapped out of it. When I got scared, I woke up for some reason.
Gotcha. So they did get you shut down.
Yeah. They'll eventually get you. So, but it just takes a minute. So I would be awake for 2-3 minutes at a time, and then I just fade away. It isn't like a light switch where you turn it on. You just fade out.
Okay, again, because I want to move on in the linear story of how it went, or how you remembered at least, but the three beings, can you tell the people the descriptions of them? Because obviously we alluded to the gray, that one with the frog skin. What are the other two?
Well, let me get back to how to control it, because that was pretty important.
Yes.
What happened to me was they scared me very bad. So, and then when I looked at them, I realized they weren't humans. They were like monsters to me. So what I did was I didn't look at them. I looked down, and I just knew in my peripheral where they were. So if I didn't look at them, I could control myself. When I look at them, I couldn't control myself because I was so scared. I'd run, I'd scream, I'd cry.
But you couldn't physically run, right?
What's that?
You couldn't physically run, right?
At this time I could. At this time, this is like the 5th, 6th stage after they control me.
And you know what's ironic is what you just said
after
about
a certain.
That's what politicians and governments use to control us as it is, even on a very primal level.
Yeah, they do that for bad, though.
Of course.
Not for good. So that's why I mean that's an incredible insult to compare them to our government.
Yes, absolutely. But it just goes to show that fear is definitely something that can create control.
Oh yeah, and that's what it's actually a kind way to control people instead of whipping them with whips or tasing them or doing stuff like that. You know, and it's just a natural fear for us. Well, for me when I met them.
Fear of the unknown. Well, now let's get to the description so we can move on to the next memory that came after of that.
Okay. Them scaring me?
No, you saw them, you felt the frog skin, you realized these things are monsters. What did the three monsters look like?
It was 2 at the time, and they were trying to take me somewhere, and I didn't want to go.
And both of these were the typical grays?
Yeah, what you guys would call grays.
So the short ones, armpit size,
right.
some General LeMay, I think used to call them.
Yeah, what people are so funny to me is a lot of people that get taken don't get past the grays. They can't remember past the grays. So that's all they ever talk about. But those guys are the least important.
Yeah, they're the sentries, right? They're just the workers.
All they are is the delivery guys. I call them taxi cab drivers. They get you there and they deliver you.
Yeah, they're not the ones that are doing the actual...
No. And they don't like their job.
As many people have said, did you recognize that did they not have any emotion, or were they just unhappy to be around with, or what would you?
No, I don't know what you want to call emotion, but I knew they didn't like your job and they got mad. So those are both emotions, I think. So they definitely did it, and you felt it.
So they scared you. You obviously tried to run, and then you realized that as long as you're not looking at them, then you're not in that 100% fear.
Right.
Now, they obviously got you unconscious again, right?
After that, I was awake for a little bit. I told them I was going to kill them, and I was going to, I was just going to kill them.
Well, let's set the scene. Let's set the scene a little bit. Okay, so you've seen these beings. What's behind them? What does the craft look like? I mean, what does the walls look like? What's the smell?
Everything is black.
Just smooth black, no panels, no controls.
Black. You can't even tell there's a door opening until you walk through it. Everything just black background, black, and which made me think a lot, because we waste so many things as humans. Just step in any living room in any house in the world, and they've got things. We have door trims, we have pictures, we have lamps, we have frames. They don't have anything. They don't have anything like you would even imagine we would. And it'd be kind of funny. It'd be kind of funny for you to think that, because why would you think they do anything like humans do?
That's absolutely correct, and that actually goes to a skeptic argument of what they would go back to saying, and then in science fiction. But you're absolutely right. Why would you expect another civilization to do what we do here locally in our culture?
I mean, and people don't get that. That's why I say I remember everything. Their doors aren't like our doors. Their walls aren't like our walls. Their floors ain't like our floors. Their lights aren't like our lights. Everything is incredibly out of this world.
Can you tell us about those details? Can you tell us what the doors were like, the lights, the walls?
Well, the doors don't even, for some reason, the doors don't even appear until you meet them.
So what? They're just a wall from a distance until you walk up to them?
I couldn't tell you, man. All I could tell you is when you need to get into where he's taking you, you just go. You're not walking through it. It becomes an opening.
Interesting. So it doesn't open like our traditional door would swing out. Or
there's no doorknobs. There's no doorknobs. There's no nothing. They're millions of years ahead of us.
Yeah. So, would you say? Did they mention any? Were they around when the dinosaurs were? Because some people claim that they.
Oh yes, they were able to land and deal with them, teach them things, show them things, do things. But they can't do it nowadays because we're a different species. We're violent. We'll kill them.
Very true. Very true. Okay, now let's get to the next part of the memory. What next happened? I know we've gone through this before, but again, each time more details emerge, and each time creates the controversy.
Well, this is I was going to kill them. I was going to do all this, and then they left. So this is where I started panicking, and so I'm thinking they're going to come back with like 50 of them. They're about to kill me or do whatever the hell they want to do to me. So the only way I saw out was the way they went. And I didn't want to go that way because I'm thinking there's more of them that way. I just stood there and waited. And
were you getting all pumped, thinking like when they come back you're going to be punching them and popping heads out?
Hell no, I was scared. I was scared. I don't know where I'm at. Like at least if I was in a park, I know I could run. If I was in a house, I know I could grab something, maybe beat them with it. I knew I could kill 2 of them, but I didn't know what they were bringing. I was scared.
So you were waiting in I guess, essentially a room or an area of this ship. What next?
Mm-hmm. They came back. They brought this taller guy, taller than me.
Skinnier?
I want to say he was. Pardon me?
Was he skinnier?
He was wearing something, so I really didn't pay attention to, his physique and all that stuff. But he was just taller than me, a thin guy. He wasn't, like, fat or nothing.
Did he say anything? Any contact? I mean, did he just walk in?
Yeah. First thing he said is he looked at me, looked at the 2 little guys that grabbed me and told him, this is the prophet. And they looked at each other.
Let me back up for 1 second. How do they walk?
I want to say like lizards, some kind of. You remember, you gotta understand. All I can do is compare it.
Compare, of course, and if obviously
I can't tell you exactly.
Yeah.
It's like smooth, quiet, just quick.
Like a shuffle, more like a shuffle than a step.
No. Again, these are the things I didn't focus on. You know what I mean?
Well, for good reason.
I wasn't curious about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't really curious about that. But it's just normal to me. Maybe they hopped or something. I don't know. But to me, it wasn't abnormal. It wasn't nothing.
Let's get back to what you just said. That he told you he was the prophet?
No, he told them, this is the prophet.
Oh, he told the other ones that you were.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's who he said. He looked at them and told them, this is the prophet. They looked at each other, and they were like, they thought something was about to happen to me, like I was going to get disciplined or they were going to force me to do something, but it didn't happen. They were like upset and walked away, the 2 little ones.
We actually just got another call, caller unknown phone number. Welcome to Third Phase Moon Radio. Got a question for Ricky? Oh, got an unknown caller just listening. Or do you have a 786? Do you got a question?
Yes, I do. I happen to have the same experience that he had. I just sent you on Skype there. When the door opens, it opens by body heat, and as you get closer to the wall and the door takes the shape of the body. Because I've actually had the same experience he had.
Sounds logical.
How many?
I can't agree with him or disagree because I don't know anything about how it works.
But see, it's the coming of the minds. This is exactly why I wanted you on.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. This is why you do this, because there might be a guy in New Zealand that knows about what I know about the cow stuff, or the things I don't know about the cow stuff, and they just fill it in. And trust me, I know this. I meet people all over the world: Africa, Australia, Florida, my own hometown. You know, it's all a big puzzle.
Well, it takes all of you putting it together, and that's why I'm glad, caller 786, that you actually happen to be part of this. I want to ask this other unknown caller, are you with us? I know he's listening. No? Maybe he just wants to lay quiet. Okay. Anyway,
if you don't mind, can you mute him or take him off? Because I don't know who that is, or
Yeah.
not know.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Okay, Ricky.
But what I was saying is, we're all just pieces to puzzle, and I am no more important than anybody involved in this puzzle. Ricky's piece does not stand out. It's just, I'm just a piece, and you got to target me. So I don't want anyone to think that I think that I'm so special. I know more than anybody, but I might be able to help people remember or wake them up.
Well, as Pink Floyd said, you're another brick in the wall, and it takes all of you to come together to put all the pieces together, and that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
We only have one lifetime to do this.
That's right.
You know, some of us don't even have 30, 40 years left. It's a lot of work.
Okay, we got that caller back again. Caller, area code 8 unknown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're with us. What's your name? Welcome.
Ben, Tammy, I don't know if this is the right call. Tammy Peppermint told me about this call.
Yeah, do you have a question for Ricky?
This is my first time calling in, so I just wanted to listen in.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, let's get back to Ricky's story. So, Ricky, this clearly seems a being in charge, a taller one, comes in that's wearing something, with the same two looking ones that brought you in, and they basically told them that you were the prophet. What happened next?
Well, first of all, I want to make clear that I never called me a prophet.
No, you didn't.
No, I know. I have to make that clear, being what I've been through. And also, when they called me that, they thought I was somebody else. So I didn't scream, "Hey, I'm Ricky. I'm not the prophet. I'm not this." So I was just going with it. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that clear. I thought they thought I was somebody else.
Gotcha.
So immediately I went. The other guy was very cool. He just gave me a great feeling. I felt no fear with him. Went, talked to him real quick. But
what did you talk to him about?
Well, he basically talked to me.
But he never vocally said anything, right?
No. This is all telepathy. The definition of telepathy is sharing brains. And anyway, he told me I want to do a couple of examinations. And I made him a deal, what we'll do. You know, I told him, don't touch me, scare me, or hurt me, do whatever you want, just get me home. And we agreed, and then we went straight to the examination.
Anything painful, or did they do anything that started painful?
No, they don't lie.
So they stuck to their promise.
Well, I'm going to have to say this example of how it is. Okay, me and Dr. J, we're sharing an apartment. Dr. J got $10,000. He got to go to work. So he tells me, "Hey, Ricky, hold this $10,000 till I get home from work." And I'm going to say, "No problem, putting the envelope under my mattress. You got to take my word for it. You got to know me, you trust me, whatever. That's just, you got to take my word for it. You leave, I get out of town, that's my money."
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you deal with these people, you share brains. So
you can't think about ditching town because it's there from the surface.
Yeah, because you'll know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
There's no lying. So that's why I made the agreement, and they didn't lie. They didn't hurt me, scare me, or touch me.
I love how
touched me at one time.
Jim Sparks put it. He said that everyone has a facade. As a human, every single one of us has skeletons in the closet, and we go walking around this earth to Starbucks, grocery store, and all this with a facade. We could be putting on a happy face when really we're dying of emotions inside. But you can't do that.
If if you live in a city, period, you're walking amongst child molesters, killers, just bad people every day and good people. But we don't know it because all I do is some people do. You get vibes all the time. But, we're amongst people all the time that do stuff that if we knew what they've done, we'd freak out.
Now, we're going to have another break coming in a couple minutes, so I wanted to get to the next story, and obviously as the music comes, we'll pause. But let's hit another point before we get to the big event, and then obviously we want to get the callers who clearly one of them is also an experiencer. Maybe the two of you can find another piece to fit in, especially after we talk about your what they told you. What happened after the procedures?
After the procedures, I do want to get into the whole reason why on the second hour.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend the whole 2
exactly.
hours on it. But, that whole life after life experience I got to experience, the reason they let me experience that was because of they were talking about my scars, my birthmarks, and when I died, and how I died, and then I panicked. They let me experience it, and it was the most incredible thing you could ever deal with. I'm still going to keep on going. We can talk about that later. They told me the whole project of what they were doing, which was making humans in space, which I call backup humans. Again, we can get into that. And then I got to see what they did to the cows.
And that's another thing that, the purposes is what I want to say as soon as we get back from the break, because I think they're so important. I think once you put them out there, the two callers that we have definitely might have some questions, but again, so might the listeners. But let me ask you one more thing since it's going to come to the break. You mentioned the moon. At what point did you know you were at the moon? Did they tell you? Did you see it through a window? Or you said...
Well, yeah. When they told me that, when I got into the craft, it was a solid black craft. And I didn't know, I thought it was like a car. I thought it was going to drive somewhere. But it was a flying craft, so no windows or nothing. But when they take off, whatever it's made out of becomes transparent. And I got to see us leave, and then we did like a U-turn. We went up, we passed the moon, made a U-turn and went down, and that's when I blacked out. Well, the whole project is to keep our species alive, basically, and that's what they're here for. They keep pure humans ready to repopulate this planet for the next time we become extinct again, and that's what they're doing again. They've done it ever since we've been here.
Because we're on the verge of making ourselves extinct, right?
There's many different situations, but anything can happen here. From a lot of things. They're helping us a lot, actually. But, yeah, we're destroying more. The reason that was pretty bad about us is we hurt more than our own species.
They say the Roper poll over 20 years ago said that 1 in 40 Americans had been taken. And if you apply that to the whole entire globe, that's a lot of people. I mean, you're talking of hundreds of millions of people. Is it hundreds or whatever? It's a significant amount. I believe it at least 100 million people have been taken. Each, especially women, they talk about having several hybrid children over the course of their years. I mean, some as many as 8. What are they doing with all these? You said they're getting ready to repopulate us, but how many of these hybrids do they need? And another thing I want to pose to you is, apparently, Dr. Jacobs, when he was able to trace back to at least guaranteed that these abductions have been going on since 1880, more than likely for, like you said, millions of years. But each generation of hybrid looked more and more human, and he said that they're walking amongst us on Earth right now. And I wanted to get your opinion on that too.
Well, I don't really deal with that stuff much, such as the hybrids, because as far as I know, hybrids, those are like what do we call them? What is that?
Two species mixed together.
No, that's not what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with humans. They make humans from humans. They don't make humans from them. That's like an old project that was tried a long time ago. They're just simply, they keep us. They're pure humans. They're not mixed with anything.
So they're taking a man's sperm in a woman's ova and basically test tube baby, right?
I don't know what you call it. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you what they do because I don't know. I don't know how the actual medical procedure is, but they're humans and humans. It isn't human.
And they told you that they were pure, right?
First generation.
First generation, free of all bacteria that probably could even be lethal to them. I'm sure if they came here with their clean sphere, they could probably, that's why a quarantine would be necessary. Do you think, because the increase of things happening, especially this last century, do you think that maybe they're really not just taking precautions, but are actually waiting for something to happen? Do you know of an event? Something?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Did they
that's why they're
hint
here.
at anything?
That's why they do it. Say it again?
Did they hint at anything? Did they show you any glimpses of anything?
They show me little things, but it's nothing that you don't know about or we don't know about. We're living this. How could we not know what they're talking about? We're at war 100% of every day of just life.
That's right. Right. People dying every day.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to insult you or none, but everybody knows. They don't even have to. They're just sitting back watching, what we're doing.
Now, cows. So they're making pure humans as a backup. That's their project to make sure that. Do you think that they're using these humans to populate other planets, or is it just as a backup?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Earth isn't the only place. We came from somewhere.
Panspermia, which is a very popular theory that seems to be hinted more and more to fall in line of it, not only being possible for just the planet, but seeding much of the galaxy.
Some of my latest messages from them have been of how we got here, why we got here. You know what I mean?
Mind telling us those?
I like to do it real quick.
Yeah. And then let's go whatever you were ready for.
Yeah. Again, this is new stuff, so I don't know much about it. You know what I mean? Everything takes time for me, so this is new stuff. But what I have been shown was that, we come from a place where, I don't know, what is it called where we live? Is it the Milky Way, where it's like Earth, Jupiter, Mars,
our
and all that?
Solar system. That's our solar system.
Our solar system, okay. Well, we come from a solar system where every planet had life. You know how right now we're in almost a dead solar system.
Yeah, where they at least so they say at least one has it.
Right, in our eyes.
Yes.
There, where we come from, I believe, is every place was occupied by different species, each planet, and I can't tell you the number of how many. But some solar systems have 500 planets, some have 2, some have all life, some have no life, and all beyond what you can imagine of what we call life. And apparently, we were causing some major problems, damage. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was we were killing species that we had nothing to do with and stuff like that. So we were either going to die away, and they were going to allow that to happen from where we're from. And these are just small details. I don't know anything that it might take me 10 years to get more details, but
for more memories to surface, you mean?
Right. So from what I know, a group of species agreed to not let us die and find somewhere for us, where we won't hurt anyone. You know what I mean? Which I come to the conclusion, which this planet is called the transplant planet, and I'll get to that in a minute, where they were able to bring us here instead of letting us just die out because of what we were doing. And now it's coming to where we're doing the same thing again in a dead solar system.
And it's ironic you mentioned that the transplant planet, because other people have referred it to as the intergalactic prison planet, where they bring the species. Well,
I would say it's more of like a hospital planet, because some of these species here aren't even supposed to be existing. Like I say, we have shrimp on this planet that live in underwater volcanoes in water that's hotter than what you boil shrimp here. They're alive. We have animals with no brains, no spines. We have all kinds of things. There could be many reasons why they were brought here. Maybe their planet isn't compatible for them right now. There's millions and millions of reasons.
Oh, one other thing you mentioned before we got from to the break that we were going to touch this hour is you saw a cow on board, and everybody's familiar with these cattle mutilations, and people recall seeing discs. There's a famous video of this disc coming and sucking up a cow, and others, when they find these dead carcasses, they say their bones are broken as if they've been dropped from a height of 10, 20, 30 feet, if not higher. What do you make of it? What did you see?
Well, I saw what they did to him. And I could see him having broken bones because they kill him. So they can just drop him from a mile up in the air, I guess. You know what I mean? Because it won't matter. But I just saw what they did to him. What they do is they do the same thing to us in a way, but they kill them. And they take their reproduction stuff, I suppose, and they make pure cows. And basically, they use the milk for the pure humans, and they use the protein for the children and the adult humans that are born in space. And people want more complicated stuff, but you can keep looking, but that's just what I'm telling you. But this can't be possible. That's not what they're doing. I'm just letting you know.
And again, it's another piece of the puzzle. And 786, what did you say your name was?
My name is Tony.
Tony, did you have any experience like that, or you have anything you want to ask Ricky at this stage?
Well, I want to reveal for the first time on your show that maybe I shouldn't say it, but I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna held anything back. But a lot of the things that Ricky is saying is I experienced on my own. I also had I've had contact and been on ships at least 20 times. Okay, and that was right after I got out of the military. When I worked in Area 51 for 2 years.
How old are you right now?
Excuse me?
How old are you right now, if you don't mind?
Where am I at now? In Miami?
No, asking your age. How old are you?
Oh, my age is 60 years old.
You know, it's ironic you mentioned the military because Captain Solace, if all of you remember, he was in the Malmstrom Air Force Base in 1967 when a nuclear UFO came and shut down 10 nuclear ICBMs, okay, 1967. Just a couple months ago, right here, at this exact time on this exact show, he dropped a bombshell that he himself was abducted. And I asked the question, were you taken during this missile shutdown? And he said he's not sure, but another person who was there at the event recalls having missing time. Do you think that stems from your work at Area 51, or were you taken before that?
No, actually, I was working in Area 51. No, that was way after that. I started working in Area 51 in 1982. And I worked there through 1984. But then I came back again in 1986 to 89. So
you were there when Bob Lazar was there?
Well, I worked with Bob Lazar. He was working in S4, which is a very dangerous base, which is 12 miles from Area 51. And he was working in propulsion system. I was born with remote viewing. I have that gift, and then I helped him work with the one ship that was shot down. It was the size of a walnut. It looked like a walnut, and he was trying to get into the door, and somehow I just waved my hands over a certain part of the ship, and I got this vision in my mind where to touch the part of the ship and had the door open up in front of us.
Maybe it was a conscious, a subconscious memory of something you had done on a ship in the past.
Yeah, and also what Ricky was explaining about that door, as I was explaining a little earlier, I know that it works by heat, because as soon as I got to the door, well, it actually took a shape in front of the wall, and when I got to the door, I actually went in, and I felt that my body was changing inside me. And when I went through the entities that I saw there, they were actually humanoids. They weren't grays. They were humanoids. Actually, there was not two. I thought there was two, but there was one at it, only one. And well, what I saw was that when I went through the door, I felt that my body was being altered so I can breathe inside the ship. And then we figured out, we took some instruments in there, and after we went in there a second time, we figured out that the oxygen inside the ship was much thinner. It's like you're being in an airplane and you need oxygen over 30,000 feet. I did have some problem breathing at the beginning when I first went in, and then I felt like lightheaded in my head. Okay, Ricky, I want to ask you a question. When you were on the moon, did you see any mines? Any mines that you could remember?
What does that mean, mines? Like?
Well, you know, on the black side of the moon, there's actually mining going on there. Okay.
No, I was inside of something like a building or a craft or something. I never walked the surface or saw anything like that.
But there, I know that there. You know that we go there. The U.S. government goes there at least 3 times a week.
NASA's definitely not the only space agency. You could just do some simple Googling, and you will find several space military commands. Well, Ricky, I wanted to get back to, because this hour was focused on was the purpose, and I wanted to get to what you think are some of the most important things that came from this experience that taught you what to do as a human and what more we could spread to the world. So I know that's a really broad area, but what area do you want to get back to talking on? Because I got plenty.
Basically, I think, you know me, Doctor, I just say it, man. I really think everything we talked about was a waste because it means nothing. It's just an experience as I went through, the same experience as somebody who went tiger hunting and caught a tiger back in the 30s or 40s. It's just an experience I went through. But as he went through that, he learned. But my experience is a lot deeper than that. I understand life. I see what exactly is going to happen, what it's all about, why we're here, what we're doing. We're wasting our lives.
We talked a little bit more about detail in that, what you're saying?
Well, we're not only wasting our lives, we're wasting lives of unborn grandchildren and children that haven't even been born. Their lives are doomed coming into the world we've created.
Yeah, especially in times like this. And again, when we started the show, we talked about Snowden saying that this generation and the future of the children and their children's children is very bleak. And you're absolutely right that we're hitting a critical point. Now, what else? What more details? I mean, if you were to say the President of the United States and you had given a full disclosure, what actions would you take to basically bring us to speed to prevent us from falling down this path? Or are we out of whack?
If I were president, you said?
Yeah.
First thing I would do is fire everybody.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would do. And then I would make a list of problems, what you call priorities, and I would handle them. And the next thing I would do, I would gather together the greatest minds in the greatest country in the world, and I would hire them to help me.
You know, and that's what obviously needs to be done, but it seems to be that the opposite's being done, that instead of trying to help the situation, they want to create the situation worse so they can keep their little powers that be. Now, you mentioned...
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, you mentioned that they told you you've learned everything about life, the mystery of life. A lot of people ponder that question. What is life? Why are we here? Can you answer that?
We're here to experience everything there is to offer. We live forever. You can live 1,000,000 lifetimes on just this planet and never do the same thing twice. We're here to experience freedom and everything, but at this point in time, we have created probably the worst experience a human species could ever experience at this time.
Is that why it's possibly at the extinction?
Yeah, we can end it all.
And that's why they're ready to repopulate us if they do.
Well, they're always ready. They're always ready, but we just happen to be born in the time of the worst of the worst. You know, even back in the days when cavemen or even Egyptians, even in between, they would kill for their land. They would do this, they would do that. But they did that to survive. And there is no law. There's only like wrong. In today's eyes, that would be a crime. Oh, they killed someone to sleep here and eat here. That's their apple tree, so they slaughtered, blah, blah. That's how life is. But here, we make rules to it. You know what I mean? We take our human nature away from our human beings, the way we live.
Ricky, we actually just got another caller, area code 954. Welcome to the show. Got a question for Ricky?
Yeah. Ricky, appreciate your sharing the story. What you just said, and I know there's a little time delay here. Anybody who's conscious can really feel the hopelessness sometimes in living on this planet. And I'm just here's my question, if I can cut to it. But first, I want to preface it with somebody else was asking. Oh, it was Cobra, some guy who's bringing out information supposedly. You guys are probably familiar with Cobra, but somebody asked him, what did the Pleiadians and the Andromedans or the beings that you work with or channel or interact with, what do they think about our life here on Earth? And Cobra cut right to he goes, you know, what their perspective is that we're living in hell. He says their perspective of how we live on this planet is hell. And in my own personal life, I totally can relate to that. Not like I have it bad compared to how probably more than 50% of the people on the planet are living. But at the same time, the oppression, it's so effed up, it's ridiculous. It's outrageously ridiculous to any common sense person how we live. So here's my question to you.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
I had something to say about it. You still had another question.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. They do not get it. They are here. We are one of the most special species ever created, ever. They know that. We don't know that. So they don't understand what we allow, being that we're one of the greatest species ever created. Such as one of the biggest things they don't understand, and then I'll go to your question.
They don't understand our divine nature and heritage?
No, they don't understand. They don't understand how hundreds can control millions. They don't understand how this little group of people are controlling the planet. They don't understand why we don't understand that we don't have to listen to these people. We outnumber them. We are powerful, but we don't get it.
So that leads me to my question to you. I mean, escaping the hopelessness, so to speak, do you think that while we have these group of beings, for whatever reason, that are controlling the planet, right, and the state we're in right now, do you think that we also on the other end or the other side of the coin have the good beings that are not only divine in nature but coming from a heart space that are helping humanity wake up, and that there is some intercession that's about to take place on some level? Do you feel that's possible?
There's an opportunity for them to do something, and there are actually more good than there is bad, but you cannot, in the society and the machine we created, they can't do it alone. And the problem is, we as the people do not stand up behind them. They listen, they'll make signs, they'll do all this stuff, but they will not act on it. There are no actions behind what we preach. And that's the problem. They tell me this is the simplest thing they tell me. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to change? And I say, how? And they say, do it. All you have to do is do it. Don't talk about it. Don't write and make 10-year plans. You do it, and you will begin to change. We don't ever do it.
So that, you know what, that's talking to me on a personal level, because there's something I know I want to do with my life, but I feel, man, if I don't show up at my job, I'm not going to have a paycheck. Yep. I'm not going to be able to keep the roof over my head. I'm not going to, but I feel like I got to take the chance.
And that's where I said, that's because of the machine we created. And if every one of us did it, even 100,000 of us did it, they would feel it. But just you doing it, they're going to sell your house, move you out, move someone right back in. So we cannot do it alone.
Right.
In about a minute and a half, we're going to come to another break, and I want to reserve the last segment for anything Ricky wants to say. And if any of you guys want to ask another question that you haven't said anything, go ahead. Can
I say one more thing real quick before the break? I want to just show how dumb we are, dumb we are as a society. The government shut down a few weeks ago. The government's the only place you can shut down and still make money. You can't shut down McDonald's. You can't shut down McDonald's and still make money. You can't shut down Denny's or a Safeway or a grocery mart and still make money. That's the time we should have stood up and say, yeah, I'm buying this bread, but I'm not paying taxes.
And
yeah,
who are still getting paid? The people who shut us down.
Them.
Senators.
Ricky, yes. One last question, Ricky, just to think about. Do you believe the Argarthans from the center of the earth and other beings are going to intercede and come to the surface, that there's going to be some big event and that everybody's going to go where they need to go as the earth? You gotta understand too. They don't care what happens to them. They care what happens. They don't care what happens to us. They care what happens to them. No, but we're like relatives to them. We're like family.
We are, but look what we're doing. Look what we're doing.
But that's not our fault. That's like we've been programmed.
It is our fault. It is our fault. We allow it to happen.
Well,
who's dumber? Who's dumber? The guys trying to program you, or the ones that are being programmed?
So we got to wake up in a quick minute, or
yeah, we don't need to just wake up. Right? We don't need to wake up. We need to wake up, get up, do something. People are just waking up. Oh yeah, I woke up. I realized there's this world that's down. You need to wake up, get out of bed, get dressed. Let's go.
And everybody, stay
I hear you.
We're going to continue.
Hang in there, brother. Thank you very much.
Right when we get back, everybody stay tuned for the final leg, Third Phase Moon Radio. Back in 2 short minutes.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. The finder of lost children and missing persons, Monique Lassan. Surveillance, civil and criminal investigations. I investigate.
No, I am the chosen one.
Do not underestimate the power of good, and do not dismiss the strength of the child.
Yes, every Wednesday evening on Revolution Radio, come join our very own Eye Investigatrix, Monique Lassan, with her private Eye X-Files.
So you're the finder of lost children.
Private Eye X-Files, every Wednesday from 10 to midnight Eastern, Studio B, on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
I realize it's very hard for you to take in. But it's your destiny to find the golden child.
Revolution Radio. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome back to the final leg of Third Phase of Moon Radio, and we are speaking with Ricky G, the phenomenal case of abduction. Two of the world's foremost leading authorities in alien abduction have taken serious interest in the case and have worked with Ricky, Yvonne Smith being one, and also Kathleen Martin and Denise Stoner, the two of them, again, on this show. Third world-renowned expert Barbara Lamb heard via us and through Yvonne and, of course, Kathleen Martin, Denise Stoner, about Ricky's case, and has also taken serious interest in this case. Now, Ricky, you said what we spent the first hour on, the experience was nothing. It was worthless. But what you learned was everything. And ultimately,
right.
We are sheep.
Correct.
We're not using our will because we're procrastinators and we don't do it. We talk the talk, but we're not really walking the talk. What more can you tell us? What is it going to take to wake us up? What is it going to take for people to finally realizing that it's going to hit the fan?
Well, first of all, simple things like when they call us sheep, we think we're sheep. We think we're easily herded. We're not sheep. We're beasts. We can do whatever we want. We could be wolves. We could be, compared to something that can handle themselves. You know what I mean? We aren't sheep. We are humans, and we have minds of our own. And, once we realize that, we're incredibly powerful as a unit. Man, we can live to be 400 years old. We can live to have our species go for 3 more million years, more. But we don't care.
And we wouldn't be damaging the planet. We wouldn't be killing each other on a daily basis. People wouldn't be dying of hunger or disease.
Yeah,
so much.
I mean, we've become so far from an animal or a creature or a being that once you make a monkey think he's not a monkey no more, yeah, it's just gonna be crazy. I'm not saying we're monkeys. I'm just saying we are one of the most powerful species ever created. We're dying.
And we're being manipulated by our own kind.
Man, we ingest cancer. We smoke cigarettes. We do heroin. We drink alcohol. We do everything to make our life short.
That's a powerful thought if you really think about it. But a lot of people, it's like watching the news and just...
They don't give it... People don't care if they die at 30 or 40. When they're dead, they're gone. They don't give a damn about their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. We're creating more than you'll ever see. We're going to be dead and gone before the worst hits. And we are the reason that it's going to happen.
And our children's children are going to be paying the price for it.
Yep, and because you're dead, you don't care. That's not how species do it. That's not how successful species do it. Chimpanzees, snakes, or, just different creatures in the wild, they're all about their children. That's what the whole chain of things is. And just because there's little difference like lions and all that, they want certain children to be, but that's just how they do it. It's all about the next generation, except for us.
We got about almost 20 minutes for the last show, and I want it to be all about what you think is important for the listeners to know. But before that, I want to give everyone a final chance to ask you a question before the show's over. If anyone wants to call in, the number at freedomslips.com is 347-688-2902, or the direct one to the show is 818-923-1713. And 2 callers, Tony one, is Ben the other unknown phone? If you guys have a quick question before go back to Ricky, go ahead.
Yeah, Ricky, this is 786. Ricky, what year did you have that experience?
87. It was the end of 87 and beginning of 88.
What about you? I believe, is it Ben and the other caller?
No, I was in Northern California.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyhow, did you have another one, Tony?
No, that was it. I want to thank Ricky for coming out front and telling us his experience.
Well, yeah, we still got some more important stuff to...
Yeah. First, let me let everybody know any other questions you have for me, anything. You can find me on Facebook. Just look for UFO abductee, all one word. But anyway, there is something, of course, the last 15 minutes to be used for the most important part.
Yeah.
It's like taking a gallon of knowledge and pouring it in a shot glass. That's all that I can share this evening, such as the important things. But this life we are living right now, is nothing. It's literally an illusion, like any dream you have any night of your life. And we just happen to be caught up in this messed up system that we created in this illusion and everything like that. So what's a waste is we are not enjoying this planet or this gift or this life as the paradise as it is. We're supposed to be. We've turned it into hell. We are all supposed to be just enjoying this place, man. We have if you tore down every food and every water fountain and every soda machine and everything around us, if you tore all that down and took it all away, we'd still have everything we need on this planet to survive and be happy and wealthy. Not money wealth.
And we did for thousands of years.
Yes, we have. But the monetary system and the system that we've created is destroying the planet. But what I'm trying to say is that still is nothing. It's just this day, which is your life, you are living, and that's what we're going through, and it takes away from what we should be experiencing. Now, let me get to this real quick. This life we are living right here is not real. This is 100% an illusion. Everything here. It's almost like it is a dream. It's just you don't wake up until you die. And people always tell me stuff like, okay. And people always tell me, well, that's a lie. How can that be true? But have you ever had a dream? And have you ever had a dream that you didn't realize it was real or not real until you woke up? That's what life is. It's hard to explain to people that have no idea what I'm talking about, but none of this is real. Literally. We just need to experience the paradise we live in. We are love has been replaced with war. We don't see love. We have no concept of love on this planet. And it just takes away from what we're supposed to be enjoying, and it's a shame.
It almost seems like we're losing the ability to love because of just seeing the amount of hatred on the world. And going back just the century of being the century, the 20th, being so horrific with World War I and then World War II with the Nazi camps and just everything has been about a war. If we weren't in a war, the U.S. was not in a war, we were prepping for a war or we were getting out of a war. Every single year.
The saddest thing about it is we have wars over God. Literally, over dirt and God. That's just, how stupid is that?
The wrong thing.
But we'll throw you in jail for a speeding ticket. Or you can go ahead and do this. You can do this. You can do that. But I'm wrong. You're our father. You're our country. You're our leaders. We're doing what you do. You wonder why these kids are shooting up schools. You wonder why all this stuff's going on in our world. Look what our country is doing. We're imitating our parents.
Sad. It's actually very sad. You know, I want you to use this time to you plug in, you know, like you said, it's a gallon in a shot glass. But a lot of people were taken, they're taught missions. Jim Sparks was one of them, and said that when he was on this mass abduction with over 50 people, he was told to show this person this screen, or this person's going to be leading people. Were you told anything like that?
Yeah, I'm like a born to inspire guy. I've been here to ignite, you know, the flame that's going to do something.
And that's what we're doing right now, right?
Right. Yeah, he might be 15 years old. She might be 20 years old who's going to do something. Or it might even be her child that does something. You know what I mean? But
Well, tell me how I can add fuel to your fire.
Keep doing what you're doing. You know, the more people, if we get 50,000 people listening one night, if you get that one person that can do something, it's worth it.
You know,
and I'll be the punching bag, because I'll get all the people that hate me, think I'm lying, and do all this stuff. But if you go through all that crap and just get that one person that might be able to do something, it's beyond worth it. Even if I die and don't even know it goes down.
You know, and this all goes back to that small group, some people call them the Bilderbergers, Illuminati, the Cabal, that they're controlling everything. They're the ones that created this monetary system, this war, this profits of war that's continuing funding this economy that's never going to end. And they don't want us to succeed. They're the ones that are putting up all the blocks to ruining our planet. Do you think there's an evil force that's dictating them that way, or is it just that their humanity has really slipped away so bad that they don't care about their children and their children's children? Even
of course, they don't care about, well, we're comfortable. They're really comfortable. They want even more comfortable. Of course they don't care about us at all. That's why they're doing it. And they see how easy we are to be scared and guided and herded, you know what I mean? So they're just trying to be part of that when it's so simple to say, you know, move out the way.
What do you think is going to be the turning event that's finally going to spark enough people to say enough's enough?
Something that's going to scare the hell out of us. Maybe another war, maybe another huge disaster. It'll never be something peaceful that'll open our eyes, because that's never happened in the history of humans that we know. No one ever brought a flower to a war and ended a war.
No.
So it's gonna be something bad. It'll be something bad that'll open our eyes, and that's what I think it'll be too late.
And what's sad is history repeats itself. How many wars did people need to have to realize they're not stopping, and yet we still haven't stopped? So you would think that the horrors of World War II, 50 million people dying, would be enough to say, hey, we never need to go through this again. And we went right back into it with the Korean War.
Well, that's because we're all separate. That's because we're all separate. This world has countries that go by different laws. It's okay to rape your wife. It's okay to rape your children in some countries. And because it ain't okay here, we have no say-so over there. But if we had a one world that went by the rights and the wrongs of the world and life, then we could say something. But we don't do that. We're separate nations.
Well, let me ask you a question. Some people say that we got the United States, and obviously it seems to be the gorilla of the Americas. You know, we basically control Canada and South America. Right. And then you got the European Union now. And then you got the African nations, or the what's going to be the African League soon. And then you have the Asian League. So you're going to have four powers that eventually could become the New World Order. Some people say that that's exactly what we don't need. But are you saying that it's actually what we do need? Unification?
No, hell no. Hell no. We don't need none of them to get together. They're all bad. We need a whole new, not a new world order. We need a new group. We need to start over. We don't continue with what we have. That's why we're changing, because we're broke. Why the hell would you bring them all together? They're the problem.
So somehow we need to get there, and we need to get them down.
Yes, their services are no longer needed. I mean, that's all you got to say. Thank you very much. It's not working. It's not working. You know.
Years ago, before the last election, one of the famous researchers, when he was asked, so people say, well, what do you want us to do? He said, next election, vote everyone out. What did people do? They reelected everybody. It's almost
I had a big campaign about voting. I told everybody, just don't vote. Don't vote. We're the problem. We're voting them in. Hello.
Yeah.
Don't vote. When I don't vote for a president, that's not my president. I didn't vote for that guy. I'm not a killer. I don't make my own laws. I go by with what goes on, but he's not my president. I do what I've been doing my entire life. You know, I don't speed and go whatever. You know, I don't sell dope. I don't do all this crazy shit. I'm my own president. I do right and wrong. And if I happen to get caught up in the system and they put me in jail for jaywalking or something, what can I do? It's the world we live in.
You ever heard of the Georgia Stones? There's these, it's basically like guidelines or Georgia guidelines, and one of them says that the sustainable number of people for this planet is 500 million. And some people say that this Illuminati group is on this mission to kill 6.5 billion people to have less people on this earth to control. Do you think it's going to take something like that for us to finally revolt against these Illuminati? Or, again, like you said, it'll be too late?
Well, I'm not afraid of anybody. So if there's any Illuminati NWO listening, my name is Ricky, and I'm saying you guys can't be anything or powerful at all because you're hiding.
That's right.
Nobody knows who you are. You don't have a representative. Step up and tell us what's going on. You don't put no fear in us, in me. You know what I mean? So they don't scare me at all. I don't believe anything they say. I believe in what happens.
You know,
and it happened, and
this goes right back to what we started the show with Snowden, when he said, wouldn't it be better for the world and the United States if they, instead of spying on us, if they just asked us? Well, just like you said, they're hiding behind their monitors of listening to this show right now, probably transcribing it and cross-checking it with every single one of your emails and text messages. Have them step up to the plate. Let's issue that.
I was just going to tell you, please let me jump in and say that this to the people, whoever is listening. First of all, they are doing this because they're scared of us. They're doing this because they know what we can do if we got together. Their goal is they don't have to fight us or bomb us or do that. They just have to make a system where we don't come together. Or we hate this neighborhood, or we hate this type of people, or we hate the poor, we hate this, we hate this. And they got us controlled. They don't even got to worry about us coming together because we hate each other. So they got us.